Hi guys, back again. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're really excited. I have a buddy today. Here's Erik, my son. He's gonna help me roll out the dough where it gets a little tough, okay? We're gonna be making homemade pasta. It's really gonna be fun and easy. And this recipe, you can't go wrong. It's so easy to do. And your ancestors have done this many times before. So we're gonna get right into it. Erik is going to be working on the KitchenAid over there. He's going to do the same recipe in the KitchenAid so that you can see both methods. Our grandmothers did not have a KitchenAid, so I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way here on the table. And I always like to work in a tray because this way my mess is all contained. It's much easier to clean that way. Okay, Erik, you going to go over there and start working it?
Yeah.
So the recipe is so insanely easy ingredient wise. It's going to be 2 cups of flour.
I'm going to take
oh yes, 2 cups of flour.
So I'll take this. So I'm just adding my flour and my eggs to the KitchenAid bowl, and I have the bread hook. Woo! Which looks like this. And we're going to get right to it. We're going to start on low and then work our way up until it comes together.
Great. And I am going to measure out 2 cups of flour, which is going to look just like this. I remember my grandmother doing this all the time when I was a child. She would make a little well in the middle of the flour, just like this. And then I'm going to add my eggs. It's 3 eggs that you just beat lightly. It's going to be a teaspoon of salt. And a tablespoon of olive oil.
All right.
So the olive oil adds a nice stretch to the dough. It makes it a lot easier.
Lauren missed the measurements. Would you mind saying them again?
Sure. It's 2 cups of flour, 3 eggs, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay? So now I'm going to just mix all this together. And this is another benefit to wear gloves because it does get a little bit messy. And I'm just going to incorporate it. I'm just kind of throwing it together. The eggs are going to suck into the flour.
You guys can ask questions as we move along too. We got a question from Lauren about the measurements, and we have a bunch of people watching. So
good.
exciting.
Welcome, guys. I'm so excited to have you on here. My goal here with these videos is to show you super simple recipes that have stood the test of time. These are things that our ancestors have really made over the past 50, 60, 100 years. And they've been delicious, and our relatives have enjoyed them. So now you're going to get to reintroduce these fun, easy things to do with your family. When you make homemade pasta, you're going to really see a big difference between the homemade and the store-bought. It's really fun. You can do different things by adding chopped spinach in place of one of the eggs. There's a lot of different recipes online, but I'm just sticking to the basic beginning recipe. I'm always excited to answer questions. If you want to advance in another way or whatever, just send me the question and I'll be happy to answer it, even after the video is over. Okay? So now you can see that all my dough.
Is this for any type of pasta, or we're just making one type?
This is a classic pasta. Just about every pasta, whether you cut it into lasagna, fettuccine, spaghetti, it doesn't really matter. The dough is always the same for the Italian pasta, or for noodles in general. Every nationality has their own pasta version. So Polish people make the pierogies. Pierogies is a richer dough. It's a little bit softer. There's milk, I believe, or water added to it, and it makes it easier to roll out. This is a very tight dough, and it's designed to be able to dry and save your dough, save your spaghetti and pastas for different times. So you can literally have a spaghetti day or a pasta day, make a whole bunch of this, let it dry, and then you have it for future use as well.
All right, so I hear my pasta coming along over here.
Is it all gathered together?
It's gathering. It still needs a minute to mix together.
Wow. Okay.
I just want to say that this recipe is going to be posted on our Kitchen Chemistry Facebook page. And one person just asked how many eggs, and we are using 3 eggs.
We're using 3 eggs with every 2 cups of flour. This is going to make a 1-pound ball of dough, so it's just as if you bought a pound of pasta. That's what this is going to make. When you first do the recipe once or twice, just stick with the 1-pound ball first. Then you can always venture into doubling and tripling, quadrupling the recipe. It really is the classic amount. 3 eggs, 2 cups of flour, 6 eggs, 4 cups of flour. There's no altering of that.
And Kathy Lorenz says hello, and so does Susan, who's watching from South Carolina.
Wonderful. Hi, Susan. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for joining. So excited. Kathy's my sister-in-law, upstate New York, so really happy to have her watching. Okay, and I'm sure my 4 nieces and nephews will be popping in soon, too.
All right, so it's not quite all together yet, but I'm going to finish it off by hand.
Yeah. And you're going to be able to see the difference in the dough, okay? Because the machine is going to make a more finer dough, a more uniform dough per se.
Yeah, so my dough's still a little
kind of looks just the same. All right, squish it around a little bit. At this stage here, you don't have to get rough and ready, whatever. You don't have to be very careful here. However, the one thing you do have to do next is let this rest. This has to set for at least 30 minutes before you can roll it out. If I would take a rolling pin and start to roll this now, I'll just show you real quickly. It's going to be very, very hard. It's really, really stiff. And the gluten is going to resist, and it's going to just squeeze back up. So I'm going to spend a lot of time trying to get this flattened out. So it's not really good.
So Kathleen's asking if you can overmix it.
At this stage, no. You really can't. You're going to see, all of a sudden, it's going to get nice and smooth and pliable. And that's fine, or elastic. It's going to feel like a rubber band. That's perfectly fine. No, you can't really overmix it. Don't throw it in the KitchenAid or whatever, leave it there for half an hour. That's just crazy. But mix it for a couple of minutes. It's going to be fine.
Great. Any other questions as we have people coming in? Katie Lynn from the Herb Club says hello.
Hey, how are ya? Thanks for joining in.
A bunch of people are watching.
Very good. Okay, so I have a sheet of saran wrap or plastic wrap, and I'm going to plop this in here, and I'm just going to let this rest for a half an hour. Okay? You don't have to refrigerate it. Just set it on your counter. You can save this till tomorrow, so you don't have to rush right away. If you want to make your dough today, let it rest. Do let it rest in the fridge, though. Don't leave this on the counter overnight. All right?
My ball came together really well, and it's starting to fight back now, so I'm also going to wrap it up in some plastic wrap and wait a few more hours.
Excellent. There you go. So if you're not a fan of plastic wrap, this day and age, that's fine. Just throw it in a bowl, another bowl, a clean bowl with a cover over it, and that will, you can let it rest there as well.
Awesome.
All
so
right.
Now I'm going to roll out.
Now Eric's going to do the rolling of the dough. So if you would try to roll it like I just did now, it's very, very hard. But if you wait a half an hour, the dough is just going to be your friend. So I'm going to switch. Eric's going to step over here.
Grandma likes that we're using our old cutting board.
Yes. So the cutting board that I'm using is actually my grandmother's. It came over from Romania back in the 1929, 1930, somewhere like that. Actually, the rolling pin did. The cutting board is from America. This is the rolling pin. I'm so grateful to have been able to inherit this from my grandmother, because I remember so many things that she's made, every meal that she...
And we're going to stretch it out.
Okay, great. All right, wonderful.
All right.
So now what's going to happen is, now that we started, this is a half an hour later. We took the dough out. Of course, I made dough in advance, just like they do on TV. All right, and he's going to start rolling that out. I'm going to turn on the water because we want to have it boiling and ready to go.
I just have a spare little cup of flour that I keep around just to make sure things don't get too sticky.
You don't want to, you do not want to overflour your dough anymore, because at this point, just a very light sprinkling just to make sure the rolling pin is not sticking to the dough, or that's not sticking to your surface. If you don't have a cutting board, you can use your counter. You can also use like oilcloth or a big piece of vinyl.
Oilcloth works,
something
yeah.
like that works well. It's just, it's not that messy, honestly, at this point. Okay. So now, while the water is boiling, I'm going to think about the sauce that I'm going to be making for here. I've given you on the list of instruction, the recipe, I've given you a couple of different ideas to go with. You can just toss this with a little butter, little salt and pepper, and it's delicious, believe me. You can also throw in leftover vegetables that were already cooked, or fresh vegetables that are just lightly cooked. You can do that. We're going for about a 24-inch circle. So it sounds a little crazy, but the dough is going to be nice and give for you. Don't worry about that. All right. If it's too thick, it's still going to taste delicious, but it's just not going to. It's just going to be it's going to be thicker. So if you don't like thick pasta, then it won't work out. So as I was saying, wonton skins is basically the same dough, so you can make your own wonton out of this dough. You have also, as I said before, pierogies. The Germans have spätzle. We have a German background. My hubby's German, so we make a lot of spätzle in this house. And when I do make it, the whole family hums away when I do it. You eat so much when it's fresh out of the water. So any sauces that you would put over your regular pasta that you bought in the store, you can throw here. A fun thing that we do with the spätzle, which works great with this, is and also another recipe called Mehltaschen, is you toss it with a little butter in a frying pan, let it get a little crispy, and then you take 4 eggs, scramble them up, and then pour them in the pan over the noodles that have been slightly fried. Let that set up a little bit, and then you top it with cheese and cook it through until the eggs are set. Really, really delicious, and it's very quick and easy meal to make. Okay, so I can't see questions.
No questions right now.
Okay,
Kathy Rich is glad to see us, and she loves the macaron class.
Oh, great, thank you. Yeah, I cannot wait to get back into the classroom and teach the macaron classes. Unfortunately, we've had to stop a lot of them. So that's why I kind of feel this is a great time for me to take and show you some other quick and easy ideas that you can do in your own kitchen. All right, so the water is boiling.
I might be at approaching.
Great. So now, this is the deal. We have the dough rolled out. It's really thin. It's probably a 1/16 of an inch thin, that it's rolled out thin. It's perfect. Look what you can do. You can take some cookie cutters and you can go to town. You want to cut some hearts?
Yeah.
Just cut all the shapes you want, okay? They're gonna cook just like regular pasta. It's gonna be really good. If it's somebody's birthday, you can cut out a couple of their initials in the pasta and throw it on top. Just gonna cut out a few of the shapes. Ooh, all right.
We're doing the whole lefty-righty thing.
Yeah,
here.
I'm lefty. He's righty. All right. So what's going to happen now is he's going to fold the dough. Just rub a little bit of flour on there.
A little bit of flour.
And just sprinkling a little bit of flour so it doesn't stick. He's going to fold it into 4ths. We're going to fold it kind of like one, okay. And then a little more flour. Don't press too hard. And fold it again.
I'm going to flip it and fold it.
Okay.
Cover the side.
All right. So what he's doing now is he's basically folding it up.
You want to quarter it? Or?
You got to go this way.
All right.
So this way, when he cuts it, he's going to get through it a lot quicker. Instead of sitting there with a knife and cutting down 24 inches all the way, he's going to be able to cut it that way. You could probably even fold it again, honestly.
I think I'll take it from here.
Okay. So He's making it fettuccine thickness, but you can also get super thin and make it as thin as the patience you have to get through this whole thing. All right. So if you wanted to make lasagna, you just make big 2-inch swaths of the dough and then boil them that way. You can let them dry for a little while, or you can let them cook right now. It's gonna cook literally in about 4 minutes. You don't have to cook fresh pasta a long time.
Maggie from the JRC says hello, and she misses us.
Hi Maggie, I miss you too. Everything on Main Street is so quiet. You know, thank God everyone's listening to what they have to do.
Yes. So we're just taking some of these rolls and pulling them out.
Faster. All right, the water's cooking. So basically what I did was I added a couple of tablespoons of salt to the water. And the good thing about making all these ingredients by yourself from scratch is you can control. You don't have to add salt if you're on a limited diet, but we're just going to do it basic.
Susan Davis wants to know, can this be used for ravioli also?
Absolutely, yep. So you know what we'll do? Just stop real quick. You can loosen that up and then we'll throw that in the water. So if you're going to do ravioli, what's going to happen, get a pastry brush, a little bit of water. And then you're going to cut your squares. All right, just like that. You're going to put about 1.5 teaspoons of filling, depending on what size ravioli you're going to do. And then you're going to just brush. You know what? Honestly, I'm just going to brush the whole thing. I would brush the whole strip of dough. Then I would put my tablespoons or 1.5 teaspoons of filling.
For now, we'll use just
a little dough.
A little bit of dough.
Just pretend that's a delicious filling. And then I'm going to put that there, and then you can crop it. And coincidentally, they do have tools out there, so you can squeeze it down. There we go. So there's a nice big ravioli there. And you can do spinach, you can do cheese, whatever you want. There's tons of recipes online. But yes, you can definitely use this for ravioli. All right.
Yeah.
So now what we're going to do is I'm going to toss this. You're going to still cut. I'll cut this up when you throw that. For some reason, it's a little bit. There we go.
It's getting a little sticky, but you just take some time and you open up these.
All right. When I was a kid and my grandmother was making her pasta, her fingers went 100 miles an hour down the line. I cannot do that. I don't know if it's a lefty thing or what, but I can't go that fast. So I cut mine very thin.
I'm going to move to over here. This one in the frame.
Okay. There we go. Just trying to get it in there so we can get it in the water.
How long are they going to take to boil?
About 4 minutes.
Ooh, so
4
very
minutes,
quick.
test a piece, and maybe another minute longer, but not much longer than that. Look at that. How beautiful is this? All right, so we're going to throw this in the water real quickly. Throw yours in the water, Eric.
It's going to be a second. These are done.
Okay. And I'll set the timer.
4 minutes.
And then in the meantime, I'm gonna start. We have a frying pan back here. We're gonna just start with a super easy recipe for a sauce. Oh, sorry. I keep looking. We have two different things going on, so we can read the questions, and I keep looking the one way.
Tara Lynn took our cheese class.
Oh,
together.
so glad. Did you ever make cheese at home, Tara?
We'll have to see.
Yeah, the mozzarella cheese class, I was just saying before, I taught you how to do bread the other day. I teach mozzarella classes, and now we're doing pasta. So you guys can do in another couple of months, it's going to be tomato season. You can have a whole Italian meal that you literally made from scratch. Ooh. Okay, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
If you're into it, you can grow your own tomatoes, too.
Yeah. All right, Eric, why don't you do some of that stuff there? He's gonna brown some onions in about a 1/2 cup of olive oil.
I have to do this behind you guys' back. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we don't have a commercial kitchen at home, so it's a little awkward at times. Let me get you. Once the onions start browning a little bit, he's going to throw a little garlic in there. And then by that point, this pasta should be done. He's going to then throw a little pepper flakes, some fresh parsley, and then we're going to just toss the pasta in there. Okay? So, other things that that you can do with your pasta, any tomato sauce, whether you use jarred or not, you have to remember what I always tell everybody in my classes too, is that your family's not going to remember that you did everything from scratch, but they are going to remember that you actually cooked in your kitchen. So make sure you're enjoying what you're doing in the kitchen and involve your family if possible. It's really a lot of fun.
And some people want to quarantine with us.
Oh, okay. I know, it's a little hard keeping the 6 foot distance here, but we've been here for a couple of days now, so it's doing good. I hope everyone's being safe out there and holding up pretty well. I'm seeing a lot of fun things on Facebook. Some of those, memes and everything else that they're putting out there is a blast. So I guess people are starting to get bored enough that they're stepping out of their comfort zone. So that's a good thing. Smells like heaven in here, guys. The onions are going. He's going to throw a little garlic in there. The recipe I have down there, I think it says 6 cloves of garlic. If you love garlic, you can do up to 10 cloves of garlic, depending on what you want. So that's not a problem. I'm one of those cooks where I'm in there throwing away.
Yeah, the garlic is always a recommendation. Like, always add more.
Yes. All right. So it's cooking up, guys.
We have only a minute left on our timer.
Okay. Be sure to share with us if you do make this at home. We'd love to hear what you have to say about it, how fun it was and whatnot. If you made special meal with cookie cutters or whatever, that would be great as well. This works good for manicotti. The thing is that you kind of can't do the things that is like shells. It'll be a little bit hard. Elbow macaroni is a little hard. You do need an extruder for that. I have all the pasta makers and I can make all that stuff, but I wanted to show you how you can do it without any extra equipment. So that's important to know.
And Adrienne Clark says she's going to try this at home with her 11-year-old daughter this weekend.
All right, so exciting. We have a whole new fresh fruity kids who are really all foodies now. So it's going to be great to introduce them with this. And then the creativity, the sky is the limit.
So our timer just went off, and I'm still browning my garlic and onions. So she's going to check these to make sure they're good. And we're not going to...
Look at... Woo! It's perfect. Perfect.
We are going to make a point to reserve some of this pasta water.
Woo!
And save it for when we're making our sauce. I'll keep this over here. Because this is liquid gold. This helps you, the starch from the pasta mixed with the water helps your sauces stick to the pasta better.
Oops, I guess I have to shut that off. All right. So here we go. There's the pasta, it's fresh out of the pot there. Just waiting for him to throw his little spices in there. Might need a little bit more olive oil too.
Yeah. And then what else we added to it?
We'll sprinkle it with the parsley on top. So that's it. You got a little salt and pepper, right?
Yep.
And the cheese.
Yeah, yes, the cheese, that's true. Throw a little more olive oil in there. We're adding a little bit more olive oil. And that's a to-do thing. There you go. Tongs. And then to finish it off, we're going to add about 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. Oh my God, it smells like heaven in here.
Let's move it over.
Throw a
so
little
you
bit
can
of,
see it.
yes. Then you're gonna throw the water in there.
All right. We have this here,
Thank you.
and we're just going to toss a little bit of our pasta water back. And this is just helping everything stick back to the pasta. Ooh, our parmesan's starting to get stringy. All right, you ready?
Yep. Just a little bit for you. There we go.
All right.
Okay. So pasta Alfredo. You can do linguine and clam sauce in here. You can actually boil your pasta in wine, guys and ladies out there, and that'll add another whole flavor and color to your pasta. So there's lots of fun things. Ooh, excuse me, the garlic's getting to me.
So we have a cameo by Mudworks Pottery Mug.
Woo!
And Lisa Bell is asking, what will the texture of the pasta be when it's done? Do I have to dry it first?
Right. If you want to have a super al dente pasta, then you do want to dry it first a little bit. But if you like it where it's going to be cooked, where it tastes good, but it's not super al dente, then it's perfectly fine.
All right. So I think it's the moment of truth now.
It is. Go for it.
It might be too hot still. That's good.
Oh my God. Smell-o-vision. Can you guys smell that? Okay. All right. So I'm really happy that all you guys joined us today. Cooking is a new thing now. I cooked my whole life, but I haven't really done demos with cooking. Yeah. So there are a few little polish up things we have to do. Yeah. But thanks so much for joining. I really appreciate it. And listen, let me know what you want me to show you. We're going to be doing fun things coming up. We're going to be doing a homemade ice cream. We're going to be doing a recipe called a poke cake. So it's really going to be a lot of fun. So stick with us, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Be sure to share.
Yes.